Welcome to Organic Gardening 101. My name's Stephen Lucky here at Gardopia Gardens. And today we are going to be building a 4-foot by 8-foot, 20-inch high raised garden bed with untreated pine for you and your family to grow fruits and vegetables all year long. Now, this isn't a very difficult task, but it's always good to see it from the beginning all the way through the building process to completion. So I have a few different materials with me that we're going to be looking at. Again, I have untreated pine. The reason I'm using untreated pine is because we do not want any chemicals seeping into our soil. There are many different materials that you can use to build your garden. Untreated pine is going to be the most cost effective. It's about $10 for a 2 by 10 by 8 foot long board. You'll need 3 of those to build your garden bed. You can also use cedar. They have 2-inch by 6-inch cedar or 4-inch by 4-inch cedar, which is going to last the longest, but it's going to be more expensive. If you want your garden to last indefinitely, you can use stone, you can use bricks. Some people do use cinder block. I'm not a big proponent of that because there are some chemicals in it, but there are many options around the gamut. You don't even need a soil retaining structure for your garden, but it helps in the beginning because there's so much erosion with rain. So instead of having to always scoop your soil back up or apply more soil, this retaining structure is really going to help it keep in place until this pine, which will deteriorate in approximately 3 years, and you can replace it, or at that time you can decide to remove it and continue building up your mound. All right, some other materials that I'm going to be using. A drill. You got to drill in to the wood. You can use screws, but screws are going to tear apart from the edges faster than your screws are. I'm going to use a saw to cut my wood. I wish I had a measuring tape with me, but unfortunately I do not, so that is another material that you would need to measure everything out perfectly. Screws, of course, and that's really how we're going to get this party started. So let's check it out. All right, folks, let's get to work. First and foremost, I have my skill saw. All right, this will cut it pretty easily. Again, this is a 4-foot piece that's already pre-cut. This is why I don't need a measuring tape. If you don't have pre-cut wood, then you're gonna need a measuring tape. 4 foot, this is 2-inch by 10-inch. I'm gonna put it on my 8-foot board. Take out my handy dandy pen, measure it up. All right, so that gives us a pretty straight line, but to get an even straighter line, I have something called a speed square or a carpenter square. So we'll measure it up. Straight lines. Measure twice, cut once. All right, we got a pretty straight line now. Step 2, now it's time to cut. Now this is not an optimal space to be working on, but we're gonna make it work. Now you can see, I have one piece of the wood on the support and the other piece of wood is hanging off. This is gonna allow the cut piece to fall. Safety first. Wear your goggles, all right? Make sure that your feet are away, making sure your hands are good. Place it down. I like to lift up, hand is safe, and here we go. Voila, nice clean cut. So now we have 4 4-foot pieces, and we have 4 8-foot pieces. So now we can begin the construction of the beds. So right now I'm placing the 8-foot boards. These are going to be our long boards. And then these 4-foot boards that I just cut, I like to call these the heads of the garden bed. So one of the heads will go right here. The other head will go on the other side. Then our 8-foot board finishes it off right here. So as you can see, we now have a rectangular prism. 4 feet, 8 feet, 10 inches. Fruits and vegetables need 8 to 10 inches to grow. They have flesh roots. They don't have tap roots. They don't need to go many feet down. But the higher the better. 12 inches would be optimal for sure. It's a little bit more expensive to purchase 2 by 12s. So that's why we go with 2 by 10s, untreated lumber, all right? The next step, screws. I have 3-inch wood or deck screws with a T25. You could do Phillips if you wanted to, but these are our preferred. You get a little bit more grip with the head of the drill bit, all right? So let's make it happen. Okay, so it depends on your perfection level, but it doesn't have to be perfectly straight. I try to do my best as much as I can. All right, level it up. Your fingers are extremely sensitive, so if you feel that it's flush or plumb, then it probably is. And do the top and the bottom. The reason I'm doing the top, the bottom, and then the middle is because you want to get your top nice and flush. If you do the middle before you do the bottom, it may not be flush on the bottom and it's more difficult to move. So get your top flush, get your bottom flush, and in the middle, it's negligible. It's gonna go directly in. All right, so we've gotten one corner. Now we're just gonna go ahead and repeat the process every corner. All right, folks, took a little bit of energy, but now we have two 4-foot by 8-foot by 10-inch high garden beds. What I'm gonna do is double stack them, sort of like I was at McDonald's and get a double stack, all right? But instead, this time it's with wood. Now remember, when you're lifting heavy weights, you always bend your knees, drop your bosom, lift, engage your core. Woo, there you go, make it light work. So now we need to keep these beds connected into each other. What I have are some 4x4s. I'm using 4x4s in the corner for a couple of reasons. Over time, the screws will start to pull apart from each other. So this 4x4 right here is gonna allow me to really get a nice, solid connection between the two garden beds and the two pieces of wood in the corner. Alrighty? All right, so this is only a 1-foot 4x4. You could do a 20-inch 4x4 and it would come all the way to the top. I personally don't want to see that, so I bring it down a little bit, and this was just, again, just scrap wood that we're reusing. All right, so now our corners are pretty secure. We could stop here if we wanted to. I'm gonna go ahead and put some 2x6s here so that we have our middles nice and secure as well. It won't be too much of an issue. They're a little long, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut them. I'm gonna do 4 per side just to get it nice and tight. You could even drill through first to see it. And so folks, that is how you build a simple garden bed. Remember, this is 101. Next season, in 102, we'll get a little bit more OCD, and we can pretty this thing up to the next level. Now, I have a special offer for everybody out there watching. I've decided that we are gonna raffle this garden bed off at Hallow East, which is gonna be October 27th here at Gardopia from 3 to 6 p.m. So stay tuned, check out our website, look for the link, support us, support our mission, build gardens, grow food, practice environmental sustainability, and create food security for you and your family. And that's the way that you create your own garden utopia.